Hi, welcome to another episode of the NILG.AI podcast. This episode is done in partnership with CODA, the Conference on Digital Assets, where Joeri and myself were speakers last week. And hope to see you in the next edition of CODA. So we have today Joeri Billast with us. He's a fractional CMO for Web3 and AI technologies, as well as the founder of Synergies, a mastermind retreat for Web3 and AI innovators. Thank you, Joeri, for being here.
Pleasure to be here. And as I say when I have a guest on the podcast, it's fun to be on the other side because I have my own podcast too. So looking
Perfect.
forward.
Can you say how to find you on which platforms under what name?
Oh yeah, so my podcast is called Web3 CMO Stories, and we can discuss about this. But for me, Web3 is an umbrella term which also includes AI, not only blockchain. So there are also AI guests on it. That is on Spotify, on Apple, but you can just Google it. Then you can also find me on LinkedIn, of course, with my name, Joeri Billast. Easy. I think there's only one person with my name, so it's easy to find me. And then there is my website, which is web3.net, which is actually Dutch for Web3. But yeah, nice domain. And the website is in English, by the way.
Nice. So thank you, Joeri. Let's get into it. Please, guys, make sure you watch the Joeri's podcast. So, as a CMO, as a fractional CMO on startups, how do you think about marketing emerging technologies? And I know AI has been here for 70 years, and blockchain has been here also, I don't know, for a couple of decades, maybe, I don't know the exact date came here. But for the market, it's an emerging technology. Although it has been here for decades, both of them are emerging technologies. How can you approach marketing of a new startup, of a new business model, of such kind of technologies?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you talk about technologies because, of course, the products or the services are built on these technologies, but we should talk a bit less about the technologies and about what is the service or whatever, what is the offer, what is the benefit that you offer to the consumer, to the end user. And AI is just technology. It's interesting that if you pay with a credit card in a store, you're not talking about the technology that is behind, you're just talking what I can do with it. And it's the same thing for marketing. I've been advising, working with a few companies that are in Web3 AI. Maybe you see it on the background, I don't know, but there's two companies. Rio is a Japanese coin. It's a Japanese ecosystem in Japan. And then there is Secrets Vault, which is also a Web3 company, and they have a solution to protect a wallet seed phrase, which is complex, but with an image. So how to do that? Well, look at the benefits. So for Secrets Vault, for instance, I explain to people how to protect their secrets, how to protect everything that's valuable to them in case something would happen to them. So I explain what are the benefits of it. And with Rio, it's about a story, which is important there. If you create stories, like we are doing a podcast episode here. My own podcast is called Web3 CMO Stories. It's important to add storytelling so that you are not just selling to your community or your audience or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So I agree with you, and we should talk more about the benefits rather than the features. I think I also mentioned that on my talk at Coda. Then why it's so that all AI startups and all blockchain startups start saying AI for accounting or Web3 accounting service?
Why? Because it's hot. It's interesting. I was using AI, no, not so long as you, but before the ChatGPT moment, I was already in AI. And so we have seen that when that came, suddenly everything should have AI involved in it because that made it sexy, that made it sellable. People say, oh, we want to do something with AI. So I think that's the reason, because then you stand out a bit and you show that you are ahead of the game. But depending, who is your audience or is your market. If you are a tech company, of course, it can make sense because you have a technical, tech-savvy audience. But if you have like you want to reach consumers, a lot of people now, even today, are not using ChatGPT daily or a lot of daily. So that's I think that's the reason.
Yeah, and I guess when companies start doing this is because they are targeting mostly venture capital more than actual consumers when they communicate in this way, Web3, AI based, etc. Because at least in my opinion, sometimes this term AI and Web3 more than attracting customers, they act like so customers get afraid of actually AI technology or Web3 technology, especially because of all the crypto scandals that has happened in the past. So sometimes we are actually working against us instead of in our favor when we market our products as Web3 or AI, whatever. So if we are talking about the values of the service and not the features itself, will it make sense to say that the values of AI is scalable decision making and the values of Web3 is protection, autonomy, and trust?
That are already good values to mention this. So blockchain depends. You can AI when AI and blockchain come together, it can be really powerful. It was the panel I was moderating at Coda. Yeah, AI can indeed help blockchain, to leverage blockchain, to get, to optimize, to be able to, work with a lot of data. So I was already into with artificial intelligence in the days when we are talking about big data and so on, and you need to have tools to have trends out of that and to use it. But now with blockchain, it's immutable, so it allows for trust. Now blockchain has like I said, it's immutable. And the problem with AI is you see so many fake profiles or scams or messages that you get always get better. And if you can involve blockchain, we can prove, that it's based on a source that is immutable. But yeah, that's a whole discussion on itself. I am actually excited about the convergence of all these new technologies, and therefore, yeah, my definition of Web3 is not only blockchain, but is AI, Web3, and all emergent technologies coming together.
So I was actually looking now for the hype cycle of any emerging technology, right? And we get this innovation trigger and the peak of inflated expectations. I will try to put an image here. Uh, and maybe at this stage, people can, get a good deal by saying AI product or Web3 product, whatever. But in the face of that is what is called the disillusionment. So the phase where people say this doesn't work, maybe it's actually goes against your principles saying that you are AI based or whatever.
I think AI is here to stay, but you see sometimes there are trends like, if you talk about Web3 and AI, we had a year where NFTs were very popular. So everyone was around NFTs. Then we had the metaverse, then you should be doing something in the metaverse. And then, everyone was going to the metaverse, and then AI came, and then AI came. But I think AI is, because AI is omnipresent, it will be everywhere. It was already there a long time, but now it's so obvious and it's accessible for every user. Everyone can go on the internet and create an account on ChatGPT or another tool.
Yeah, and nowadays with these foundational models, it's much easier for any business to start using AI, even if they don't have much data or any data at all, which makes it easier to build AI projects. So everybody's trying to touch it one way or the other. When we are talking about early stage startups, a lot of the communication about the brand, about the company, about the values, etc., comes from the founders.
Mm-hmm.
And most founders in the AI Web3 community are technical founders, right? And we like to talk about features, not so much uh, about the why we are building the product. Even though sometimes we say no, we are actually caring about the problem. Most tech founders focus about the features. Have you seen this problem throughout tech startups? How do you advise them to improve this communication manner? How do you train them?
Yeah, so what helps is talking to people that are not tech savvy and explaining what you are doing, like the 1 minute elevator pitch, how to explain to
Yeah.
your neighbor what you are doing. It's interesting. I go to different conferences. So I was at Coda, where there was a Web3 AI savvy audience, and the conversations are different. And I gave also a keynote in Oerash at DGT Innovation about the CMO of the future, and that was a marketing audience. And so for me, because I talk to these different audiences, it helps. Now, for a technical person, of course, they are used to talk to technical people, but they should talk in a way that even their friends explain. And so either that their wife or their husband or their girlfriend or their friends can explain to others what you are doing, because if they cannot, in your case, for instance, how would you explain to your neighbor what you are doing, like in an easy way?
In my case, I help companies make better decisions with data.
Voila, and then of course they know AI. They can, but if this is quite easy, so it should be so fluent as that. But not if you have a solution talking about a crypto term that people get scared. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the crypto community, I see a lot of acronyms. You guys love acronyms like IPO and CBCDs or the AIUs.
Yeah, I'm not a real, crypto guy. So, like, I'm actually a marketing guy that is interested in all these new technologies and try to make sense of it. And I like to be early, but my audience is also like, people that are interested in new technologies. So it's not the typical one. But yeah, I know that in IT there are a lot of acronyms. I remember it was funny. I think my first job at a telecom provider in Belgium, I was there on my first days. I was in a meeting and people were using all these acronyms. And I asked my boss, because I was new, what does it mean? And he said, well, often the time I don't know what it means, but I'm just, people just want to be smart and using those
Yeah.
acronyms. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Not this year, but last year on Code, I was on a panel discussion. And these guys kept mentioning a lot of acronyms. And I was just asking, "Look, please, God, don't let them make me a question about an acronym because I don't know what they're talking about until they start elaborating on it." Like central bank digital currency, CBDC. So I know the
Yeah.
concept, but if they tell me CBDC, I don't know what they mean. And in marketing, we have like a short period of time, short attention span where we need to communicate. And if we start saying, CBDC, we already lost the
Yeah.
other part, right? And it seems to me like sometimes technical people do not realize how short is the attention span of anyone, scrolling through the media, through the social media, etc.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, one, can you reflect about any marketing tactic that works well with tech companies that you will see, like, like I wouldn't expect this working on a tech focus or a tech strongly technological company.
Well, what I mean, marketing, actually, if it's now Web3 or AI or analytics, I had an analytics company before. Marketing stays marketing. The basic principles of marketing still work, and it's about a problem that you solve, and also be able to. And it's of course more present in Web3 is build your community around that. I gave the metaphor when I was giving my keynote in Oeiras. I said, yeah, community is like, remember in the medieval ages, those castles, you had water around the castles. Well, community is actually everyone within the castle, but it's protected by the water. It keeps the enemies out, but also it keeps your community with you and with your brand. So community is important. And then if you communicate, make it not like boring. Like with AI, we both know it's easy to create content, but go a step further. Walk the extra mile to make it really personal and make it really, I would even say, audacious. Not like all the rest. Stand out, use your own voice, use AI to give you inspiration to amplify it, but really be different. And then, you can win, not by doing, because everyone is doing AI now these days.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that you mentioned communities because in content media, in content creation, like I mean, personal branding is all about creating a community, etc. And I do see, for example, in Web3, people like vouch for a product, right? Like they are very opinionated on the product they followed, right? And it's like a tribe, it's
A tribe or
like a
like,
tribe.
or
Yeah,
like they are really fan of it, like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I do see that happening a lot in Web3. I don't see it happening that much in AI. So in AI, you don't see like products creating communities around them, but in Web3, it's very common.
Yeah, yeah, actually, because if you think of it, in Web3 you see a lot of these communities, but in the AI we don't really have that. Like these AI communities, maybe because it's more omnipresent. I would say, like the Web3 or the blockchain community, those are still like it's a small part of the world that is
Yeah.
maybe using Web3 technologies or having some crypto, whereas AI is directly present everywhere, I would say.
I will try to make a educated guess on why this could happen out of my head. I haven't thought about this before. Let me know if you think it makes sense. So, Web3 is built on the common value of sharing, right? Open technology, like everything is there on the blockchain. So, people are willing to share because they care about transparency, right? So, they tend to be open and frank about that they support a technology. AI, it's all so people get concerned when they think about AI because of data privacy, data sharing. Are they using my data or not to train? And will they share this data with others? So although AI needs data from a strong community that is there feeding the algorithms, the overall value of the AI community is not about sharing; it's about privacy concerns, right? So maybe that is why Web3, it's has a stronger communities than AI.
It might be, yeah, or it might be like the vibe and everything, how it is created. Like, we had the NFT period where people were just, connecting themselves with NFTs and with communities. And it's, yeah, I cannot put my finger on it why it is exactly like that. But I think community building for both is interesting, and it's one of the reasons also why I'm now organizing this mastermind retreat here in Sintra. I'm putting AI people and Web3 people together, like, that want to learn, that want to make the best out of it, that want to build a community. And so, yes, I cannot really explain why it is different in AI. It's just like, yeah, maybe because AI went so fast and is so suddenly everywhere, the ChatGPT moment that we didn't really have in Web3.
Yeah, that might be it. Have you seen any campaign, any startup launch that you have in the Web3 space that you have advice that you see like a good example to follow and one that will be a bad example or something that failed?
Yeah, there have been, if you Google for it, a few that have failed that are like, oh, that worked for some time, but then are now stopped. So one example, it did really well at the beginning was Starbucks in the US with their NFT and with their loyalty card, and it everyone was excited about it at that moment. But then now I think they stopped it because, it didn't really give them added value. So it should not be about the technology; it should be at added value that you can. I know other brands like Adidas, and so they do great things. Now the Japanese coin that I'm talking about, or what I just talked about, Rio. They are launching now something new, which is a meme token. Maybe meme tokens is like it's something hot, but not for the speculation of it that it would go up in price, but for the utility that it gives. And the utility is that you get access to a system with AI involved to discover scams before they happen. And I like the way how they launch it from Japan, which is highly regulated. So it gives already some signs of trust. And then by working with a meme token, but also giving this utility, this value, and involve AI and AI agent. Again, a good combination of blockchain and AI, where the AI agent will help you when you make investment decisions and to find if it's a true true token or it's a scam. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I will check it out after the podcast. Just to wrap up here. So you are a marketeer. How do you see AI and blockchain reshaping the way you work as a marketeer?
Well, it's already so AI is already shaping the way ever. Every day there is something new coming out. The tools are getting better. For instance, for my own podcast, it's changed a lot. In the beginning, I had an editor for my podcast. I did the interviews like you, and it took time before I published it. Now I'm using tools to prepare, to record, and to edit. Everything is done by AI. There is just one person have a quick look to see if everything is okay, and then it's published. So that's already a game changer for me. And then I use AI constantly, actually. So then when AI is not available, then I can have a problem. Now blockchain, yeah, it can also help me. And then like the lowest hanging fruit for most people will be to send payments, to if I want to send a payment to the US or to Japan or receive payments or like to accept and use crypto for that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, like the use case with the strongest adoption in Web3 has been by far in the financial system. Like how open can you pay and receive payments regardless of where you are? I'm from Venezuela, so in Venezuela we had a lot of restrictions around receiving and paying in US dollars. And then you see a high adoption of blockchain technologies. People don't even know that that's a blockchain technology. They just know that they can pay in dollars, and they use it because of that. Projects like El Dorado that are in Venezuela. So nice. Any final advice you would like to give to any CMO or any founder that is working on a deep tech?
If for me is that don't hesitate to try out things. So if you're already now looking at Web3, if you are using AI to be better in what you are doing, then you're already ahead of most of the rest of the world. So now is the thing is that my advice is just double down on it, see what's possible, try it, see what comes back, listen to podcasts, do research and see what can benefit to your life. Don't be afraid of it because it won't go away. It can help you. I heard the how is it called again, this guy, famous guy, who said about AI will not replace your jobs, but if you don't if you don't use AI in your job, then you will be replaced by someone who does use AI. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
think it was the head of the MIT or Harvard.
Nvidia, I think that, Nvidia of this guy,
Nvidia also, yeah.
yeah, they are big in it. They say, they don't, because AI will not take away the whole job, but part of it, and
Yeah,
then you need to be
yeah,
able to handle it.
yeah, that's for sure. And in the AI community now, I don't know if you have read this book called Intelligence. I think it's the name. There's this phrase there that says, "Start using AI, even if you think they are dumb, because this is the most stupid AI you will ever use. So it will only get smarter."
It will only get smart. Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Yuri. It was super nice to talk to you. Hope to see you at Coda next year, if not earlier. Guys, follow Yuri on his social media platforms, on his podcast, and hope to talk to you again soon. See you guys.
By the way, can I add something at the end?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
If people were present at Coda and they haven't taken advantage of the discount code that I gave at Coda, like you get 25% off if you use the code word Coda or the name of your podcast, just send me a message and we're happy to give you that.
Perfect. Send me maybe the link to where they can claim it, and I can add it to the description
Yeah,
of the
I
place.
will send it to you.
Great. Thank you. See you, Yuri. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.